Hello students, welcome to a new class. In fact, last class of coordination compounds, in which we are going to discuss about crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complexes. In the last class, we were discussing about how crystal field splitting takes place in an octahedral complex in which 6 ligands are surrounding the central metal, right? And we have seen that splitting of d orbitals, these are 5 d orbitals, it splits into two sets. One set is called as Eg set and the other set is called as T2g set, right? Out of the 5 d orbitals, they get divided into two sets or split into two sets. These 3 orbitals present in T2g set are same and these 2 orbitals present in Eg set are same. When will that happen? Whenever a ligand comes near to the metal, then only the d orbitals of the metal splits, right? And the energy gap between T2g set and Eg set, we called it as delta O, right? Octahedral crystal field splitting energy, right? Or stabilization energy. How much is the strength of the ligand, that much splitting takes place, right? So based on the splitting ability of the ligands, we are having a series in which ligands are arranged in the increasing order of their strength, right? So this series is called as spectrochemical series, which starts with, right, this area or these types of ligands which are present in the end of the spectrochemical series, which are at the last of the spectrochemical series, are called as weak field ligands. Who comes under these? All the halogens as well as thiocyanate. These ligands and even hydroxo also comes under weak field. At the end of the spectrochemical series, the ligands which are present are called as weak field ligands, and these ligands don't have enough strength to make the splitting more. So what will be the splitting of weak field ligands? It will be less. That means the gap between T2g and Eg will be lesser by weak field ligands. Because the splitting was less, the energy gap between these two sets was also less. But on the other side of the spectrochemical series, these ligands which you can see are called as strong field ligands. These ligand causes the crystal field splitting to be more between T2g and Eg, and when that happens, the energy gap between T2g and Eg, which is delta O, will be more if the ligand is strong field ligand. The splitting between 5 d orbitals which is splitting is more. The gap between T2g and Eg is more if the ligand is strong field ligand, right? Therefore, we have to know who comes under spectrochemical series and what is the order of their strength. The strongest ligand in spectrochemical series is carbonyl, and after that nitrile, ethylenediamine, amino, EDTA, water or aqua ligand, hydroxo, fluoro, chloro, thiocyanate, bromo, iodo, right? This is the order of decreasing strength of spectrochemical series. Now, if ligand is strong field ligand, splitting will be more, and if ligand is weak field ligand, splitting will be less, right? So that is the energy gap in an octahedral splitting, which is called as octahedral crystal field stabilization energy, right? But you want to know how much energy is increased for Eg and how much energy is lowered for T2g, because we told that when ligand approaches the central metal, the d orbitals of the metal will divide into two groups. The one in which direction the ligand is coming, they will go away from the ligand by increasing their energy, because ligands are coming from axis, from x, from y and from z axis. Which d orbitals are present on the axis? Dx square minus y square and dz square. So they will go away from the nucleus by increasing their energy. which d orbitals are not on the axis, dxy, dyz and dxz. So what they will do, they will go away from the nucleus by lowering in energy, right? So but if you want to know how much energy is increased for Eg and how much energy is decreased for Eg, it is delta O into 3 by 5 will give you how much energy is increased for T2G. Same way, delta O into 2 by 5 is giving you how much energy gets lowered by T2G. Here 3 orbitals are there, so 2 by 5 you will take. Here 2 orbitals are there, so 3 by 5 you will take, right? So now the next is pairing energy, in which suppose there is a metal in which d4 electrons are present, right? The metal is having 4 electrons. How will you fill the electrons here? First electron here, second here, third here. Fourth electron, where will it go? Will it be paired in T2G or will it go to Eg? Depends on the ligand which is present in that complex. If the ligand is a strong field ligand, the gap between these two will be more, right? So the electron has to take high energy to go up, right? Therefore, when that happens, pairing energy, if splitting energy is more and pairing energy is less, which energy electron will try to go? They will try to go by least energy, which is pairing energy. If pairing energy is less, then the fourth electron will be paired here. When can that happen? When the ligand is weak field ligand. If the ligand is weak field ligand, pairing energy will be less, which is easy for the electron. So it is when pairing energy is less, it will be going as a pair in this orbital. It happens when the ligand is a strong field ligand. When will the energy gap be more? Energy gap is more, pairing energy is less. When will that happen? If the ligand is strong field ligand, energy gap will be more. So more energy, they won't go, less energy they will go. So pairing takes place in case of strong field ligand. But if energy gap is less, pairing energy is more. Pairing energy is more. So more energy no one wants. Less energy only they want. Energy gap is less. So what they will do? Energy gap is less. So the fourth electron goes here. When will the fourth electron go there? Whenever the ligand is weak field ligand, right? This is the crystal field splitting in octahedral complexes and spectrochemical series, based on which splitting, pairing and distribution of electrons takes place in octahedral complexes. Now we will study crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complexes, right? In tetrahedral complexes also, out of the 5 d orbitals, it splits into 2 sets, and that sets are of the order this. Eg orbitals energy is lowered and T2G orbitals energy is increased. It is exactly opposite to that of T2. It is exactly opposite to that of octahedral splitting. And who comes under T2G? Same xy, yz and xz. And who comes under Eg is x square minus y square and z square. xy, yz, xz comes under T2G. Same way, for octahedral complexes, the difference in the energy or the energy gap was called as delta O. Here the energy gap is called as delta T, right? If you want to know how much energy is increased for T2G, you have to take delta T 2 by 5. This you have to take delta T 3 by 5, right? This is for tetrahedral complexes. In tetrahedral complexes, whatever the splitting was for octahedral, it will be opposite. Why it is opposite? Because when the complexes are tetrahedral complexes, example is tetracarbonyl nickel. When the complexes are tetrahedral complexes, all the 4 ligands are, not a single ligand is exactly on the axis. Not a single ligand is coming from exact x-axis or y-axis or z-axis. All the 4 ligands are coming in between the axis. In between the axis direction they are taking. Which orbitals are present in between the axis of the metal? The orbitals of the metal which are present in between the axis are T2G orbitals. Ligand is also coming from in between the axis. So, whichever orbitals are present in the direction of ligands, their energy increases. In this case, T2G orbitals are present in the direction of ligand is orbitals are here, ligands are also coming in that direction only, right? So, what they will do? Their energy increases. So, the ligands don't interact with the T2G orbitals, right? So, and EG orbitals are present on the axis, but ligands are not coming from the axis. So, their energy is lowered. How much is lowering and how much is increasing is this. Total energy gap, 2/5 of the total energy gap is increased, 3/5 of the total energy gap is lowered, right? So, this is crystal field splitting in octahedral as well as tetrahedral. For tetrahedral complexes also, if the ligand is a strong field ligand, the energy gap will be more, and if the ligand is a weak field ligand, the energy gap will be less, right? So, now we have discussed about crystal field theory and how it takes place in octahedral and tetrahedral molecule complexes. Now, let us look at the last topic of coordination compounds, which is applications of coordination compounds in a daily life, in industry or in medicinal industry or in textile industry, in all the fields, right? Coordination compounds. Till now we have studied about the speciality of coordination compounds, and we should not think that they are some special compounds which we don't come across. Based on coordination compounds only, there are many useful processes in our body, not just in our body, even in plant body also, right? And the biggest example for coordination compound is hemoglobin. What is the job of hemoglobin in our body? Is to supply oxygen to all parts of our body, right? In the structure of hemoglobin, this is the actual structure of hemoglobin, having many rings. Here oxygen. This is the structure of hemoglobin, right? Is it a coordination compound only or not? Yes. Because of the coordination compound called as hemoglobin only, our body is receiving oxygen at all parts by coordinating oxygen in the form of a ligand. What will what will the central iron do? From the hemoglobin, the iron which is present in the metal, the iron which is present in the center as a central metal will take the oxygen from the lungs as a ligand and bind it, and then it travels to different parts of the body where oxygen is not there and delivers oxygen wherever it is absent, right? So, if oxygen is binded to the iron in the form of ligand, then it is very easy to get transported throughout the body. So, this is an example of coordination compounds only. Another biggest example of coordination compounds is magnesium, in which same big molecule is there, right? Same big molecule is there which will trap light and performs the process of photosynthesis. If a magnesium central atom present in the chlorophyll pigment was not able to do or to make a coordination compound, its capacity to trap sunlight was not be present, right? So, with that coordinating capacity of magnesium as a central metal, it is able to take light energy and perform the process of photosynthesis, converting carbon dioxide and water into starch, right? If that coordinating capacity of magnesium in the form of a central metal was not there for magnesium, chlorophyll photosynthesis which is such an important process would not have taken place, right. These are the important coordinating compound only in human body and plant body, hemoglobin and chlorophyll. In medicinal industry, to treat cancer, there is an important drug called as cisplatin, which performs the action of anti-cancerous drug in killing the cancerous cells, right. That drug is also having platinum coordinated. This is the name of the drug, cisplatin. What is the structure of this cisplatin? Coordinating compound only, coordination compounds only, right. By this coordinating capacity of cisplatin only, it is able to kill all the cancerous cells present in the body, right. Next, in quantitative and qualitative analysis of laboratory, there also qualitative and quantitative analysis of laboratory also coordination compounds are used, right. There are many uses in textile industry also coordination compounds are used, and in various field you will need the help of coordination compounds to make that process useful and efficient. Coordination compounds are very essential, right. By this we have completed a very important part of the S block, P block, D block and F block elements, which is coordination compounds. The two small portions of that chapter, which is D block and F block, is very small, and in fact it is negligible. Very few questions will come from D block and F block. Using that D block only we are studying coordination compounds, but introduction of D block, details about D block is negligible or very less in fact. So, let us finish that after completion of coordination compounds. Okay, you please note down all the important points of coordination compounds so that we will move forward to the next topic. Okay. Now let us discuss about D block elements or transition elements, right. What are the elements present in the D block or transition elements? It starts from scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, ferrous, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. These elements which I have written comes under 3D series of the periodic table, right. Third period, fourth period and fifth period. In 3D series it starts from titanium till zinc, zirconium, hafnium, zinc, cadmium, mercury. I have written only 3D series, 10 elements of 3D series, right. The next series is called as 4D and the next series is called as 5D series, right. Third period D orbital, D block elements are called as 3D, fourth period are called as 4D, fifth period is called as 5D, right. So, there are D block elements present in 3 periods, but the most important ones are present in the first period, which we are going to discuss about, right. So, in D block, in these elements, what is the electronic configuration of D block elements? In D block elements, the differentiating electron enters into D orbitals, which is the last shell of the D of the element, or last but one shell. It is last but one shell, NS2, right. The last shell is present for in S orbital and D orbitals is present in the last but one shell. This is called as ultimate shell and this is called as penultimate shell. Starts from 1 ends at 10, and in all the cases S orbital has 2 electrons. So, for scandium the D configuration is 3D1 4s2, for titanium 3D2 4s2, similarly 3D3 4s2, 3D4 4s2, 3D5 4s2, 3d6 4s2, 3d7 4s2, 3d8 4s2, 3d9 4s2, 3d10 4s2. This is the electronic configurations of all the d orbitals. S is present in fourth shell, D is present in third shell, you have to remember. Okay. So now if this is the electronic configurations of transition elements, what are the special property, what is the physical property of them, right? Physical properties are they are hard and have a good luster. What next? What is the next physical property? They are malleable and ductile. Malleable means they can be drawn into sheets as well as drawn into wires. That property is there for D block elements. What else? Their melting points and boiling points are sharp. Sharp and high melting point and boiling point, right? What next? They have good melting point and boiling point. They are malleable in nature and ductile in nature. They are hard, good and luster. They have a good luster, right? These are the special physical properties of all the transition elements, right? What are the important chemical properties or the special chemical properties of the transition elements? Special features of transition elements. See, if this is the electronic configuration of D block elements, they have a very special feature of if 2 electrons are lost by scandium, what will be the oxidation state? +2. If 3 are lost, +3, right? Same way here, +2, +3, +4. +2, +3, +4 and +5. Same way here, +2, +3, +4, +5 and +6. +2, +3, +4, +5 and +6 and +7 also. Here 2, 4 and 6 only for iron. Like that, all these atoms present in the D block elements have a tendency to form variable oxidation states in different compounds. In different combinations, they show different oxidation state. In some compounds, they loses only 2 electrons to give an oxidation state of +2. Sometimes they can lose 3 electrons also to give +3. When the atom is the same, in each and every compound, their oxidation state also should be same, right? But that is the speciality of D block elements. They have variable oxidation states. Each element has variable, that is the first speciality. Variable oxidation states are present in transition elements, right? Next property is they give color. They give colored ions. They give colored ions, right? So suppose if copper, if I take copper, if it loses, what is the electronic configuration of copper? 3d9 4s2, but generally it will not be 3d9 4s2, it will be 3d10 4s1. If it loses 1 electron, 3d10 will be filled, nothing can happen. But if it loses 2 electrons, if copper has an oxidation state of +2, the one unpaired electron is left, one of the electron can come, right? Even if a single space is present empty in this ion, the electrons gets excited from ground state to excited state, and in doing so they exhibit color. Therefore the ions of the transition elements shows color, right? So they are give colored ions. Next property is they are having ability to form alloy. Ability to form alloy. with different combinations of the metal you can get a different alloy whose performance is based on the requirement. Whatever performance you want from the alloy, that combination you can make from the given list of d block elements, right. That will give you a good alloy. Whatever properties are desirable in two or more metals, that can be combined, which is easy for coordination d block elements. Next, what is the next property? They have an ability to form coordination compounds. Other elements of the periodic table cannot form the coordination compounds. Only transition elements can form coordination compounds, right. The next property is they are catalytic in nature. In many organic and inorganic reactions also, suppose if you take hydrogenation of alkenes and alkynes, you need the catalyst to be nickel, palladium and platinum, right. So therefore, not just in the organic but in inorganic reactions also, transition elements act as a catalyst in increasing the speed of the reaction. These are the special features of transition elements which are belonging to d block elements, right. Coming to the f block elements, where is f block element present? In the transition elements itself, after scandium, vanadium, in the transition elements only, scandium, zirconium and hafnium, in that only after lanthanum. After lanthanum, the electron will not enter into d block, it enters into f orbital. Therefore, after lanthanum, which is cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, like that, so many elements are present which are 14 in number, in which the differentiating electron enters into not n-1 d but n-2 f. Ultimate is s, penultimate is d, and before penultimate is f orbitals, right. Starting from 1 electron till 14 electrons, electron enters into f orbital, and all those elements belongs to, after lanthanum if they are present, they are called as 4f series, and after actinium if they are present, scandium, lanthanum and actinium. After lanthanum 14 elements comes under 4f series, after actinium 14 elements comes under 5f series, right. In the lanthanides and actinides, the important topics which we must know is lanthanide contraction. What is meant by lanthanide contraction is lanthanum, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium. What happens? One by one, the electron, this is lanthanum, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, like that it continues. In lanthanum belongs to which group? Scandium, lanthanum, actinium. Scandium means 3d1 4s2 I told, right. So lanthanum will be 4d1 5s2, right. If scandium is 3d1 4s2, lanthanum is 4d1 5s2, in which there is no f orbital present. But after lanthanum, instead of the electron going into 3d1 4d1 then 4d2, the electron will not go into 4d orbital, but it goes into a next orbital, which is another orbital called as 4f orbital. 4f orbital. So instead of that, electron enters into 4f1, like that. After cerium, praseodymium 4f2, 4f3, like that, total 14 elements will come after lanthanum, in which the differentiating electron, instead of going into 3d2, they enter into 4f1 only, right. As the 4f orbital is having weak capacity of screening effect, that means they won't screen the attraction of the nucleus much. Therefore, as 4f is present, this is nucleus, first 4f is there, then 5d is there, then 6s is there, right. Who is present near to the nucleus? 4f, right. if 4s will screen the nuclear charge, nucleus cannot show its attraction on D and S, but 4f has poor shielding effect or poor screening effect. So if that is the case, nuclear charge cannot be hindered by 4f. So all the nuclear charge will fall on 5d as well as 6x. As soon as you go on adding an electron, nuclear charge increases, electron also increases in 4f from 1 to 14. If the electron increases in 4f orbital, but the screening effect of the 4f will not increase, nuclear charge which was increasing, as you add electron, if electrons are increased, nuclear charge also increase. That you have to remember. So if nuclear charge is increasing but the screening effect is not changing, what will the nucleus do? Nucleus tries to show its effect more on the last shell. So if nucleus attraction is more on the last shell, it will try to pull the last shell towards itself. So after adding one electron, capacity of the nucleus to pull them closer is also increasing. So as the nuclear charge increases, the atomic size decreases from lanthanum to lutetium. That special feature is because of poor shielding effect of 4f orbitals, and it is called as lanthanide contraction. Generally from top to bottom atomic size increases, but in lanthanides from top to bottom atomic size decreases because of poor shielding effect of 4f orbitals, that is lanthanide contraction. By this we have completed D block, F block and coordination compounds. In the next class we will start with a new chapter. Okay, thank you.